Today's discussion, Bridging Borders for Sustainability, focuses on creating a cohesive and sustainable future for Europe. We are privileged to have Ms. Federica Mogherini, Rector of the College of Europe and former High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, to share her insights.
I'm very pleased to be here for a couple of very personal, specific reasons that I will try to share with you at the beginning. First of all, because I'm from Rome, and I believe that Podgorica is the closest capital city to Rome beyond the Vatican and San Marino. So I feel home. The Adriatic is a very short sea, and I feel part of the Adria environment. And also because I came to Porto Montenegro a few years ago for a very short time. This is something that has not changed, unfortunately. Every time I come, I see how beautiful this is. I say I should come and stay longer, and then I go away again for a few hours only. But I was thinking this morning, when I was here last time, it was probably 6, 7 years ago, maybe 8. And yes, some things have not changed, the beauty of the place, the fact that I stay for too short time. But the atmosphere, I would say, belief, the energy, about the perspective, the realistic perspective of the Western Balkan countries to really join the European Union, we're talking about 2018, 2019, was different than today. And I think we have a good story to tell. And I want to tell you this, back then I had an institutional responsibility. Today I don't. So what I tell you today is my honest, open, realistic assessment of what I see from Brussels, where I still live, Brussels, Bruges, of how the European Union perspective for the region has changed. In 2018, 2019, especially in 2019, this was one of my biggest frustrations. You reminded the fact that North Macedonia had changed the constitution at the time, Albania had gone through a very difficult justice reform, all the countries of the region were doing their parts, some more, some less. And let me be even more open and honest than you have been, Madam President, and the European Union back then didn't deliver. We didn't deliver. Now, I think the perspective of the Western Balkans to join the European Union is real, maybe for the first time since Croatia joined. And I think this is due to two changes, two mindset shifts that have happened inside the European Union. Number one, I believe that today it is clear inside the European Union, at least the majority of interlocutors and players in the European Union, that it is not about enlarging a machine, it's about completing the integration of the continent. And in the Western Balkans, this is clear, right? You are already inside the borders of the European Union. There's no enlargement. It's like filling the gaps. It's not enlarging anything. So it's not an expansion, even conceptually, I think this is important. It's about completing a job that otherwise is not finished. And second shift in the mindset, I believe, is for the first time in the European Union, there is an understanding that this is in the interest of the European Union itself. It's not charity. It's not about something that future member states will want to achieve. It's also that. But it's also and mainly the understanding that given the current geopolitical context, yes, and it's sad that we needed a war to wake up to that, but in the current geopolitical context, size and weight matter. And it's important for the European Union to complete its integration, to play at full its role in the world. So it's for the first time, I believe, a shift in the strategy of the European Union. And it's the first time I see this. Collectively. It's about completing the integration process that started 74 years ago, and it's about a self-interest of the European Union itself. Not doing that, the cost of non-enlarging, the cost of non-completing the integration process is simply too big to face the risk for the European Union. So I believe today, for the first time, I really believe today that this will happen. So I hope that this is a good continuation of the words of hope that we heard. I believe that this will happen. But I also see some challenges. And so I think it's important to understand how to make it happen, how to navigate through the coming years that hopefully will bring us back to 28 member states. When I left office, we were still 28. I don't see any institutional impediment to go back to 28 or 29 or 30. We managed to work perfectly well when we were still 28. I think this is the first lesson to be learned. It's always good to imagine internal EU reforms, but it's not so good to have EU internal reforms as an alibi not to enlarge. We can enlarge without reforming if we go gradually. This is the first element, probably. How do we want this enlargement to happen? Do we imagine another big wave like 20 years ago with all the candidate countries or most of the candidate countries coming in together? Then yes, absolutely, the European Union would need a very profound and difficult change. But personally, I would be much more comfortable with the idea of gradual steps, having one, you choose which one, 1, 2, 3 new member states, maybe already NATO allies that are fully aligned to the EU foreign and security policy, maybe not of huge sizes so that cohesion funds and agriculture policy doesn't need to be completely restructured and so that institutions can still function without major treaty changes or any treaty change at all. I hope and I believe that we are ready. We are ready for that. So first, go gradual, but go real. Make it happen. Second, keep the motivation, keep the political will. President, you were very clear in your indication of political will, capacity, and know-how, and I'll come back to that. I believe that keeping the political will, keeping the energy, keeping the motivation in the region, in the civil society, in the public opinions, in the political leaderships, but also inside the European Union will be crucial in the years to come. Because in this moment, I think that there is a new enlargement enthusiasm, which is very positive. But we know that as politicians look at next elections, as we encounter national electoral cycles in relevant member states in the coming years, one for all France in a couple of years, I think we need to consolidate and anchor this enthusiasm to some real societal and institutional steps so that political trends and electoral campaigns don't damage or don't change that political will and that enthusiasm that is present on both sides. Second, third thing that I think we need to do, how to navigate this, is to understand something that also I think was highlighted very well in the previous conversation. It is not only about institutions. Institutions have their responsibilities, this primary responsibility, but you have a role to play here in the room. Every single citizen, every business, every academic institution, every civil society organization, every single person inside the European Union and outside has his or her role to play. It's a societal transformation. It's not only an institutionally driven transformation. And this needs the whole of society approach. This needs motivation and a lot of work from all corners of the societal spectrum. And here comes my last point. We need to invest in people. We need to invest in people because without people making this happen, it will simply not happen. And people make a difference in terms of political will, in terms of capacity, in terms of courage, in terms of strategic vision, and also in terms of know-how. And here, let me come to my current role. It is because I also came here to tell you a story that I think it's a story of hope. And for me, it's a very good story to tell. I'm now director of the College of Europe. The College of Europe is a postgraduate institute on European studies. It's the most ancient, 75 years ago, was founded Institute for European Studies. We only do European studies, and most of our graduates are now in the European institutions, national institutions, but also business, academia, media, international organizations, private sector, and so on and so forth. And the College of Europe was born in Belgium, in Bruges, to actually start the European integration process 75 years ago. It contributed to that. Just let you know that the statute was originally signed by people like Churchill, so I mean, we have a legacy to live up to. Then it opened a second campus 30 years ago in Poland to prepare the accession of the Central Eastern European countries to the European Union, and it did. And now we are opening for the first time a third campus of the College of Europe in the Western Balkans, in Tirana. We are going to start in September with the first promotion of students. And I take this as a sign, as a symbol, but also as a very concrete contribution that it is going to happen. It's going to be the way to prepare, one of the ways, I hope a key way to prepare the generation that will make it real. Will make it real. Will not only prepare for accession, will make it happen. We started 1 year ago. We opened admissions last October with President von der Leyen and President Michel. We had 240 applications for 30 places. We conducted 120 interviews of brilliant students, more than 40 nationalities. We have selected 30 students, approximately, of 22 nationalities, more or less half from the region and half from the European Union member states. Perfectly gender balanced, 50% women, 50% men. Brilliant, excited, motivated students that will start in September to study this master course on European transformation and integration to make the integration of the region happen on both sides. Because it's not sufficient to prepare the know-how, the capacity, and the motivation and the political will in the region. It's also needed to be built in the European Union member states and to create the networks. So I'm very proud, and I'm also very thankful for the President to accompany us in this journey and witness this. I'm very proud that today we are signing a memorandum of understanding with the Government of Montenegro to support 2 students from Montenegro joining the College of Europe. I think this is a very concrete step that will increase capacity and know-how. This is a very important element with which I will finish. It is very important, this was underlined, I think, in the welcoming remarks, it is very important that part of this journey is the whole of society. Gender-wise, but also in terms of social and economic background, we have to make sure that every single part of society feels part of this journey. And this is why it's so important for us as a College of Europe, but also for the European Union as such, to invest in scholarships that would allow any student, no matter what background they have, to be selected and to advance on a merit-based only consideration, exactly as merit-based is the accession process. So let me take this opportunity to tell you this. This journey we have embarked upon is, for me, the contribution that I see I can give now in a different institutional role from academia to the same agenda, the agenda of making the enlargement or the integration of the European Union complete, and to work on the capacity building and the know-how of generations on how to integrate Europe one step further. I would like to invite you to consider our journey in the Western Balkans, the College of Europe that will open in Tirana, as also your house. Use it. Feel free, obviously, to sponsor us or our students if there are investors in the room, but also use it as a catalyst of this generation of young, motivated people of different backgrounds, different nationalities, that believe in the European integration process, that have the know-how, have the skills, and use it as a house for a whole of society journey for not the European perspective of the region, because the region doesn't need a European perspective, it's already Europe, but the European Union perspective of the Western Balkans. I thank you very much for your attention.